Vietnamese government maintains that the capital sentence is essential to punish people committing serious crimes such as drug trafficking, rape, murder, armed robbery, and even corruption. For Margaret Nduta, who was found guilty of smuggling over 2 kilograms of cocaine, she's likely to be injected with a cocktail of the deadly drugs while strapped flat on her back. Other methods to execute the death penalty used in other jurisdictions may also include electrocution, firing squad, and even execution by lethal gas. In Vietnam, the execution of capital sentence is conducted in secret with no public witnesses except for government officials.
And you know, the saddest part is that Vietnam, they do not bend into international pressures, especially when it comes to drug cases. They do not bend to international pressures. The only thing that can save Margaret for the Vietnam government to commute her execution to life sentence is a strong and well-coordinated diplomatic intervention. That's the only thing. Or rather, if her lawyers and World Human Rights, humanitarian and human rights can intervene, and they prove that Margaret was coerced into this thing and it's her first time, if they can be able to prove all these points, that it was her first time, she was coerced into it, maybe the Vietnam government can consider her case from execution to a life sentence, where she will get to serve the rest of her life in Vietnam jails until she passes on. But for us thinking that she can be released or be jailed in Kenya, that's a dream. It's not going to happen. Because the only reason that can be realized into reality is if we had very prominent Vietnamese prisoners, then we can do some prisoners exchange. But in this case, only a strong and a well-coordinated diplomatic intervention. That's the only thing can help Margaret. The other thing is just what I've mentioned, I've told you. If we can have the humanitarian groups and her lawyers to prove that this was her very first time and she was coerced into this, then she can be pardoned for death to a life sentence, imprisonment. It's really sad. And Kenyans, don't forget that whoever did this to Margaret is a fellow Kenyan. Somebody sitting somewhere, their stomachs are full, probably driving a very nice vehicle, living a very luxurious life. And Margaret gonna rot in jail. Be careful. Even though you're pressed, even though situations sometimes are very difficult, and you need to do everything for survival, there are some of the things and some of the lines that you do not need to cross. Anything to do with drug trafficking, most of these countries, Asian countries, China, and any other countries, they do not bend their laws when it comes to drug issues. Some countries also corruption. Like in Vietnam, I didn't mention that also corruption is part of a death sentence. It's not pretty, dying by execution. In South Carolina, there was one man who was executed around 7th of this March. He was shot straight to the heart as part of his execution. It's not pretty. It's scary because he was given 3 options: lethal injection, electric chair, or firing squad. He chose firing squad because when he requested for details of the lethal injection, they couldn't disclose. Him and the lawyers wanted to know which drugs are being used, are they expired and all that. But because it was it couldn't be disclosed, he chose firing squad. Why electric chair? Because that thing will roast you while still alive. So it's not a good thing. It's not funny. It's not something that you'll wish even for your worst enemy, unless it's Kasongo. Kasongo is the only person we can wish to face that kind of a thing. Because the things that he does, it's like he doesn't have the heart of a human. Any other person apart from Kasongo, you wouldn't wish. Anyway, that's all I can say. That's my 2 cents, and that's what it is. So Margaret will not be released. We can only pray that she get a pardon where she serves a life sentence rather than execution.